Beat Saber is one of the most popular VR games of all time, practically being synonymous with VR itself, but it also might just be the best and easiest rhythm game to play casually. This might seem like a very bold statement, but there's quite a few reasons I think this. Also, keep in mind that throughout this video I'm not saying Beat Saber doesn't have a competitive scene, because it definitely does. So first, out of every single rhythm game I have ever touched, which is a decently long list, Beat Saber is by far the most intuitive. The controls are simple, you literally just swing your arms. There's no aiming a cursor, buttons to press, buttons to rebind, knobs to turn, turntables to scratch, you get the point. You swing your arm in the direction indicated by the arrow on the giant cubes flying towards you. Occasionally there might be a floating laser to follow, or maybe even a slightly longer than normal cube to hit, but it's still easy to understand. Beat Saber is also just way more playable on a fresh install than most other rhythm games. Someone just opening the game for the first time is greeted with quite a few song packs there for them to play. The songs in these packs fall into a multitude of different genres, and each of them also have multiple difficulty levels. Compare this to a fresh install of Osu, where you get 3 or 4 maps and that's it. Sure, they have multiple difficulty levels, but with such a small selection it won't take very long to go through everything. Even this is a better case than a game like Quaver or Eterna, which both come with absolutely nothing. Granted, they have ways to download more songs built into the game. Also, cosmetically, default Beat Saber is just way more playable than a game like Osu. The default Saber colors and models are perfectly fine, and many players use them. Compare this to Osu, where the default skin is practically unreadable to a new player on both Standard and Mania, and even more experienced players would rather die than use them. This also affords Beat Saber players the luxury of not having to bear witness to the arguments of what skin is the best. For Osu, it isn't really as much of an issue as on VSRGs like Mania or Quaver. People constantly argue over what skin type is the best. Should they use circles, arrows, or bars? Up scroll or down scroll? Maybe even split scroll? Does anyone actually seriously play with this one? People act like using a certain type of skin will instantly make them better at the game just because a top player uses it. This leads nicely into my third reason. Beat Saber isn't constantly shoving a ranking system down your throat. Let's open up Osu and go to play a map. Oh look, my rank, front and center at the bottom of the screen. Well, let's just ignore it and go play a map. Oh look, how my rank was affected by that specific play right up in my face. Whatever, let's just scroll down to see some stats. Oh look, my global rank as well as the performance points for this specific play, as well as my entire profile. Great. You know what? Let's just go download some new maps off the website. We have home, beat maps, oh my god. By now you probably get the point. I know I've been talking a lot about Osu, but it's definitely the biggest offender of this. Other games of course do it too, but it can be a bit easier to ignore it in them. On the flip side, Beat Saber doesn't even have a global leaderboard in-game by default. You have to go out of your way to install a mod for it. Even then, it isn't constantly up in your face, and it's honestly more useful to give non-official maps their own leaderboards. This keeps people playing the game because they're having fun, and not because they're gaining ranks based on some performance system that favors certain skill sets over others, and isn't really a good measure of the overall skill of a player, especially at a lower level of play. There are multiple different mods to add global leaderboards to Beat Saber, so it's a bit more difficult to get any worth out of these values assigned to scores anyways. What comes to mind when thinking of some of the most popular YouTube videos from other rhythm games? Cookiezy's Freedom Dive? Vaxe's Tsukanami? Some inhuman score from Rec? Or maybe some incomprehensible score from Jakads or Jay Lee? Now think about why these videos are popular in the first place. Most of them are going to be some PP milestone or record, or some crazy unranked score that completely obliterates the PP system. Now think about some of the most popular Beat Saber videos. There are no PP values associated with them, and there's probably not even a player name in the title. A lot of these videos are going to be people in full body tracking or a mixed reality setup, dancing around and just genuinely having a good time. The plays are impressive, of course, but the fun in watching the videos comes from seeing the joy in the player's movement, and not from some arbitrary number that determines if a play is good or not. These videos are going to be the ones that people in and out of the community are going to get exposed to. The players in these videos are going to be who people new to the game are going to strive to be like. In the long run, it's a lot healthier for someone to strive to have fun with a game, as opposed to striving to set scores that a single person on the planet is capable of. This isn't to say you can't play a rhythm game for this reason and still have fun, because you certainly can. It just shouldn't be the default style of play force-fed to you the moment you open the game, or even before you open it. Playing for fun should be something someone is compelled to do when they first start playing a game, not something they decide they want to do after playing it solely to appease a ranking system for a while. I think another contributing factor to this is the barrier to entry Beat Saber has. Not just anyone can download the game and start playing it. You need a VR headset. The prices on these can vary, but you're dropping at least a few $100s. Beat Saber hopefully won't be the only game someone new to VR wants to play, since there is so much more out there. When your focus is split between multiple games, you're more likely to play them just for fun. All of this together just makes it so much easier for a player to play the game casually. If they decide they want to play to rank up later on, that's great. If not, that's fine too. More rhythm games need to take a page out of Beat Saber's book and make everything not so rank-centric. This makes everything so much more welcoming and makes it easier for new players to figure out what they actually enjoy. Thanks for watching this far. Do you have any experience with rhythm games? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you next time.